According to the Minister of Health report, 40% of Moroccans, which is nearly 14 million people, have experienced either depression, anxiety, or other psychological illnesses. The problem here, it's not this huge number on itself, but the amount of undiagnosed cases due to the following reasons. Mental health services are not affordable to most citizens, and visiting a psychologist is equivalent to being abnormal in our culture. Our app's goal is to introduce people to the world of psychological treatment and familiarize the act of visiting a psychologist. Kallimni app takes you to an individual therapy session with our virtual psychologist Kallimni bot. So basically, you're just chatting with him like you would do in a real meeting. Kallimni greets its user with a calming light blue color, promoting the feeling of tranquility and trustworthiness. After a simple registration, Kallimni invites the user to make his first voice record. Just push the record button and talk to him about your problems. This record would go through an in-depth sentiment analysis based on frequency to figure out the current emotional status of our user. Then we offer him advices that correspond perfectly to his mood, complemented by an image to catch his attention. This whole process works based on this architecture. This architecture is also divided into two sub-architectures. The first one is the Google Cloud PubSub that we'll be using because the chatbot messaging feature requires using real-time messaging. An app user creates and sends audio messages to a topic. Subscriber 2 creates a subscription to our topic to receive messages from it. Subscriber 1 receives the audio coded in base64 and transmits it to the NLP model using a cloud trigger. The TensorFlow NLP model will extract the emotions from every user's voice using an open source model that takes an audio format as an input and predicts 5 different emotions for each gender depending on the frequency of their voices. Treating the frequency of the voice and not the language will enable us to communicate with every user no matter what language they're using. Our app doesn't stop here though. A community feature will be developed in the future. This will allow our users to have access to a large supportive community where they can provide help and motivation to each other by sharing their journey on how they successfully got through a psychological problem. We're also thinking of a collaboration with psychologists, so if a user uses the app, got comfortable with the environment of therapy sessions, and felt the need of having real-time treatment, the app can suggest him a doctor to visit. The data retrieved from the conversation might be sent to the doctor himself so he can have an idea about the patient and his situation. Obviously, this occurs under the agreement of the patient himself.